Sleep. It's something we all know and love. In fact, humans spend about a third of their lives sleeping. The National Sleep Foundation recommends that you should get, on average, between 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night in order to maintain a healthy circadian rhythm. The circadian rhythm is defined as a 24-hour internal clock that is running in the background of your brain and cycles between sleepiness and alertness at regular intervals. It's also known as your sleep/wake cycle. So, why is this important? Well, lack of sleep at night or distribution of the circadian rhythm has been associated with numerous negative outcomes, such as increased risk of obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and cancer. Today, we investigate the scientific method that tells us that the disruption of the circadian rhythm is associated with increased risk of breast cancer by observing human night shift workers and deriving the mechanism from a mouse model. Sleep well, because if you don't, you may get cancer. An article published by the Journal of the National Cancer Institute titled "Rotating Night Shifts and a Risk of Breast Cancer in Women Participating in the Nurses' Health Study" studied 562 women from June 1988 to May 1998 to determine the effects of night shift working on breast cancer risk. The study defined a rotating night shift as working at least 3 nights per month. The researchers found that among premenopausal women, it was observed that there was an increased breast cancer risk of 23% after 1 to 14 years of shift work, with a 95% confidence interval. This study raised many questions about the effects of disrupting the circadian rhythm and the risk of developing breast cancer. There are 4 components to understanding the mechanism behind these findings: light exposure at night, melatonin, oxidative stress, and free radicals. These factors were put into place in a mouse model experiment. Laboratory animal studies simulating rotating sleep-wake schedules and transmeridian flights that cause repeated disruption of the circadian time organization favor development of breast cancer in female animals and also accelerated growth of transplanted non-endocrine tumors. This displays a strong relationship between sleep disruption and cancer formation. As previously stated, the circadian rhythm is a 24-hour clock that uses an oscillating mechanism to synchronize all cells in our bodies from being alert to entering a period of rest. This rhythm, controlled by melatonin production, is imperative for the best cell function in our bodies. According to Altoon et al., melatonin production is controlled by the light-dark cycles, and only during darkness at night does the pineal gland produce melatonin in abundance. These cycles also control our body's sleep and wakefulness. When there are disruptions in light-dark cycles and circadian rhythms, cellular cycles are also disrupted. Similarly, a disruption in the circadian rhythms will result in a decrease of melatonin production. This is applicable to cancer formation via the metabolic view. According to the melatonin mitochondria in the Cancer Cell article, melatonin constantly acts on the mitochondria of the cell. The mitochondria is responsible for cell death control, glucose oxidative metabolism, the electron transport chain, ATP production, amino acid synthesis, and many other cellular functions. When mitochondria is under oxidative stress, melatonin is able to counteract the oxidative damage by stabilizing the free radicals. In fact, no other antioxidants were able to produce the same effects as melatonin on the stressed mitochondria. According to the Warburg theory, oxidative stress damages the cell's DNA and contributes to the oncogenic signaling and tumor progression by irreversible modification of DNA and oxidation of proteins. Because melatonin is a hormone, breast and prostate cancer development is very sensitive to these hormonal changes and disruptions. Endocrine responsive target tissues of the breast and possibly prostate appear to be particularly prone to tumor development after repeated circadian disruption initiated by shift work. Sadly, little, if any, research has been directed towards the prevention of breast and prostate cancer. This is a problem within the scientific method because it is fundamentally difficult to design an experiment that tests prevention. Consider, how do you prove a negative cancer development? Furthermore, how would scientists determine the direct cause and effect relationship between the variables and cancer development? Because of this issue, many other experiments have been done in order to observe correlations. Finding correlations between sleep, melatonin, and cancer development has allowed researchers to draw conclusions that can still be beneficial to people like us who want to reduce our risk of developing breast and prostate cancer. Disruption of the circadian rhythm causes the abnormal cellular oscillation. In addition, it lowers levels of melatonin, which is imperative for regulating sleep-wake cycles and stabilizing cells when they are under oxidative stress. Without proper levels of melatonin, high levels of free radicals will damage DNA. In order to maintain healthy levels of melatonin, we recommend getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night, turning off lights at night, and meditation. All of these factors have been proven to increase your levels of melatonin, which will ultimately decrease your risk of developing breast and prostate cancer. We hope that you have enjoyed learning about sleep and cancer. Thank you.